Hello, children, and welcome to the Children's Fireside Story Time from our library in Grosse Pointe Woods. Tonight we're going to read Richard Scarry's Peasant Pig and the Terrible Dragon. I hope you enjoy it. Peasant Pig and the Terrible Dragon. The king and the queen of Busyland lived in a big castle with the knights and the ladies of the court. The king's pride and joy was his little daughter, Princess Lily. Sometimes the happy princess danced for the members of the court while they waited for the royal dinner. Here comes the castle cook, Big Hilda, with the king's soup. Be careful, Big Hilda. The peasants of Busyland lived and worked in the fields around the castle. One of the friendliest and best workers was named Peasant Pig. Peasant Pig always waved to Princess Lily when he saw her riding outside the castle in her royal wagon. After the peasants cut and thrashed the wheat, they took the grain to the miller, who ground it into flour. Baker Fox made delicious bread from the flour. At harvest time, the peasants picked grapes and put them in a big vat, and they squashed the grapes with their feet to make grape juice. One day, the king declared a holiday in Busyland. Everyone went into the field outside the castle to play games and celebrate. The knights on their horses played a game of jousting. They tried to knock each other off their horses. Oh my, jousting is a rough game. The peasants wrestled and played ball. They danced and sang and drank lots of grape juice. Everyone had fun. Look at the juggler, juggling plates. Peasant Pig practiced his lance. He wanted very much to become a knight. Watch out, Peasant Pig. That make-believe knight can fight back. Peasant Pig hit the target, but the make-believe knight spun around and hit him back. You forgot to duck, Peasant Pig. You need more practice before you can become a knight. Then Peasant Pig and Lowy Worm tried a game of quoits. Lowy tossed himself and won, but Peasant Pig won the archery contest. He shot an apple off the tree stump with his bow and arrow. You're a very good archer, Peasant Pig. Suddenly everyone heard a cry for help. It came from the woods. What's happening? The crowd asked. Peasant Pig, using Lowy as an arrow, shot him high into the air. What do you see? Asked Peasant Pig. A dragon, Lowy shouted. Run, everybody, run for your lives. Everyone ran to the castle. The king, the queen, the knights, the ladies, and the peasants all crossed the drawbridge into the big safe castle. The guards quickly cranked up the drawbridge. Peasant Pig made it just in time. Now the dragon would have a hard time getting into the castle. Everyone was safe inside the walls of the castle except Princess Lily. She had not come back from her ride in the country. Find her, roared the king. Save my baby, sobbed the queen. Peasant Pig wanted to help the king and queen. I will go to the lookout tower, said Peasant Pig. But Peasant Pig and Lowy could not see the princess. Lowy, I need your help again, said Peasant Pig. He shot Lowy into the air. What do you see, Lowy? Asked Peasant Pig. I see the princess, Lowy shouted. The dragon has tied up the guards and captured her. When Peasant Pig told the king what Loey had seen, the king flew into a rage. "I'll show that dragon," he shouted. "Call my knights. They must slay the dragon and rescue my little Lily." Peasant Pig wished he were a knight. He wanted to go too. The knights rushed to put on their armor to fight the terrible dragon. The armor was so heavy that Peasant Pig had to help the knights get onto their horses. "Thank you, Peasant Pig," said the knights. In the forest, poor Princess Lily was now a prisoner. The dragons had tied her up and put her to work making grape juice. The royal guards could not help Princess Lily. But help was on the way. The king's knights rode out of the castle, across the drawbridge, over the moat, and galloped into the forest. The brave knights charged. But the terrible dragon leaped up. The horses were scared. They stopped in their tracks so suddenly the knights were thrown off their saddles. The knights laid on their backs. The armor was so heavy they could not get up. The dragon laughed at them. Oh, that terrible dragon. But look, it was not a real dragon. It was a band of robbers dressed up to look like a dragon. When they saw the knights couldn't get up, the robbers took off their dragon costume. Then the robbers tied up the knights and dressed themselves in the knights' armor. Now they thought they were brave knights. Oh, those awful fellows. Princess Lily watched as Morbert, the leader of the robbers, shot an arrow towards the castle. The arrow flew over the head of the king. Loey saw a piece of paper that was tied to it. The arrow flew into the kitchen and landed right in the middle of Big Hilda's fresh-baked cake. But Hilda was furious. "Someone has ruined my beautiful cake," she cried. She was so angry, she threw the cake out the window. Loey hurried in to find the note that was tied to the arrow. In the forest, the robbers were sitting down and drinking grape juice. Suddenly, they had Big Hilda's cake go into their juice. At the castle, Peasant Pig and Loey brought the robber's note to the king. It said, "Give us all your gold and jewels, and you can have your daughter back safe and sound. Signed, Morbert, the terrible dragon." The king was frightened. He rushed to his counting house to get his gold and precious jewels. Peasant Pig decided to try to save Princess Lily himself. "I have an idea," he said to Loey, "but I'll need your help. Get a lot of soap. I will need to get a lot of soap to make it work." Big Hilda brought Peasant Pig all the bars of soap in the castle. Peasant Pig filled up the throwing machine with the soap and climbed in. Loey cranked up the machine. "Aim carefully, Loey." Peasant Pig and all the soap landed right in the grape juicer where Princess Lily was squashing the grapes. The grape juice began to turn into grape soap suds. "You better pay attention, robbers." "Ah, now the grape juice is nice and bubbly," said Morbert. Morbert and Merbert, Orbert, Ebert, and Sherbert took big gulps of the grape soda suds. "Ugh," they cried. "Water, we need water." "What's the matter, robbers? Don't you like Peasant Pig's grape soap suds?" "There's water in the moat," said Morbert. All the robbers jumped into the moat to get a big drink of water. "Ah," said Morbert, after he rinsed the grape soap sud from his mouth. "That's much better." And he and the other robbers tried to climb out of the moat, but their armor was too heavy. "We're trapped," they cried. "That looks like Morbert and his gang. That looks like Morbert and his gang, said the king. But Hilda wanted to see the robbers too. Look out, Big Hilda. Don't lean over too far. Oh no, Big Hilda didn't listen. Big Hilda landed with a big splash. She splashed the robbers right out of the moat. Look, the robbers are coming back, said Peasant Pig. Quick, Princess Lily, where's the dragon? There is no dragon, she answered. The robbers used a dragon costume. It is in the woods. Aha, said Peasant Pig. Now I know what I'll do. Wait here, don't worry. He leaped out of the grape juicer. He untied the knights and the guards. Hurry, Peasant Pig said to them. Follow me. It's our turn to be a dragon. When the robbers reached the forest, Peasant Pig Dragon jumped out at them. A dragon! Shrieked Morbert, Merbert, Orbert, Ebert, and Sherbert. It was their turn to be frightened. The robbers, dressed in heavy armor, fell to the ground. They couldn't move. Peasant Pig quickly tied them up. Then he untied Princess Lily. I will give you a Peasant Pig dragon ride home, he said. Princess Lily laughed and jumped on the dragon's back. When the king saw the dragon with his daughter, he was very upset. He didn't know it was Peasant Pig Dragon. Big Hilda thought the dragon was real too. Help, help, she called. Lower the drawbridge and let me in. But Loey had an idea, he said to the king. I know how to stop the dragon. All I need is a lot of pepper. The king ran into the kitchen and took a sack of pepper. Tie it around my neck, said Loey. Now I need Sheriff Murphy's help. Then Loey told Sheriff Murphy to shoot him at the dragon with his crossbow. You're a good arrow, Loey. Loey landed right in front of the dragon. He tossed the whole sack of pepper into the dragon's mouth. Hatchoo, sneezed the dragon. Hatchoo, sneezed Peasant Pig. Hatchoo, sneezed Princess Lily. Hatchoo, sneezed the knights and the guards. Everyone tumbled out of the dragon costume. Hi, Loey, said Peasant Pig. Princess Lily gave Peasant Pig a big kiss. How can we ever thank you? She asked him. I know how, said the king. Kneel, Peasant Pig. He touched Peasant Pig on the shoulder with his royal sword. I name you Sir Peasant Pig, the bravest knight in the kingdom. Then he gave Sir Peasant Pig a shiny new suit of armor. And Loey, said the king, because you are such a funny fellow, I'm naming you my court jester. Then he gave Loey the best jester suit ever. Everyone was happy, including the king. She was so happy, including the queen. She was so happy, she was crying. As for the robbers, they were sent to the castle dungeon, where they were put to work making soap. They won't be playing dragon again for a long time. We must celebrate, said the king. Yes, yes, everyone shouted. They all sat down at the king's table for a feast. To amuse the king, Loey, the jolly jester, tried a new juggling act with fresh eggs. Everyone laughed and had a good time. Loey took the eggs that weren't broken back into the kitchen. Big Hilda had just finished baking a beautiful new cake. She brought it to the table. The king was just about to cut the cake when out jumped a little dragon. Everyone was very surprised. The dragon stuck out his tongue, and guess what? It was Loey Worm Dragon. What a funny fellow. The royal friends all sat down for a big feast, and everyone in the kingdom of Busyland lived happily ever after. The end. Thank you for joining us today at Children's Fireside Story Time from our library in Grosse Pointe Woods.